In this podcast spotlight, we're featuring the Seattle Kraken, Seattle's new NHL team. The team just announced their brand identity, and you really couldn't escape it. Whether you're on Twitter seeing it trend, or watching it online, or watching it on TV, Seattle Kraken is the new brand identity, and it's here to stay. And the planning cycle around this is what really excites me as a content marketer. This is something that took years of planning. Even before they owned the team, even before we lost the Seattle Supersonics, this went all the way back to the Seattle Metropolitans of the 1900s and a long legacy of hockey here in the Northwest. The name itself pays homage to the Scandinavian heritage here in Seattle and the mythology around some of the sea creatures in the area. I'm not surprised that Jerry Bruckheimer is involved because you can feel that in the cinematic way that they tell the story about the Kraken. When you saw that brand identity come to life, you saw the color schemes, you saw the blues, you saw some of those identities, those things that remind you of the ocean and of the Seattle area. That's also part of that maritime experience they were trying to deliver with this new brand identity. But one thing this organization did at the outset is they didn't decide a name and tell you you're going to like it. They engaged their fans, their core audience. At the end of the day, if Seattle fans hate the name and don't feel personally involved, they're not going to be endeared to the brand. They're not going to fill the stadiums like the 12s do for every Seahawks game. They're going to feel like an ownership group came to Seattle and created a business, not created an impactful cultural phenomenon that's really trending all over social media. So by really listening to their fans, what they did is they asked the fans, what would you like to name the team? So by getting the fans involved, by getting the fans engaged early and participating, you got them talking about hockey when hockey wasn't going to be played for many years. And hockey still won't be played until 2021. But you got your fans engaged to select a name, to feel like they were part of the game. And now to announce it, you still have a year until hockey is going to be played. But think about the momentum you've created and the excitement within the city. This is where the strategy comes in, and this is where that cinematic approach, probably powered by Jerry Bruckheimer and some of his creative genius, really took off and really gets us excited. Because when you see a brand really adopting this type of strategy, all the way from inception until delivery, it gets us excited because this is the true power of content. This is how you can get your customers involved. This is how you can get eyeballs on your brand. And when you're launching a new brand identity, it's the most critical time in the history of your company. This is one opportunity that you can have to really establish something and really endear yourself to those people that will be your followers, that will be your customers, and are your audience. Take a look at the Washington football team if you want to see an example of what not to do when you're trying to redefine your brand. For any content marketing strategy to be successful, it needs to have multiple elements. You can't just have the cinematic video that tells this amazing story of the Kraken. You need it to have supporting content. So when they announced it, that cinematic buzz that was all over social media was supported with very creative, very smart content to continue the conversation. There was one piece where they had a group chat as if you were on your iPhone chatting with your buddies, where it was the sports teams personified as human beings having a group chat. So the Seattle Kraken was bantering with the Chicago Blackhawks or the Pittsburgh Penguins. The genius behind this is they're leveraging tools we all use. We all know what a group chat is. We all understand some of that fun banter that could happen in a group chat. They also shared merchandise that you could buy that could support the local community that's in dire need of some of these amazing services and some of these donations. So they really added another community feel to it. But that merchandise had to be available. That brand had to be available. So they gave you something actionable you can do. And now what could we do as a Seattle Kraken fan? I think what we could do is be excited that we have a cool brand identity that leverages the long history and tradition of Seattle. Something to look forward to and continue the conversation. But hockey's a year away, and everybody's talking about the Seattle Kraken.
This podcast spotlight is brought to you by Envijo, where brand science meets creative vision. Every brand has a story. We're here to help you tell it.